Recording in progress.
What's up, Harrison? Can you hear me okay?
Yep.
All right, great. We'll
Got
get
me?
started. Yep, we got you. We'll get started, and John Scott will have our first question.
Hey, Harrison. Can you tell me when you first heard Sean deliver the message of trust the process, what your reaction was, and if you remember how much you almost hammered it home regularly at the beginning of the seasons?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's really important for a rookie coming in. It's actually very similar terminology that we used at Stanford when I was there too. And you see it time and time again, especially my years in college. You know, there's not a lot of freshman All-Americans, but by their senior years, they're, you know, leaders and contributors and getting drafted and stuff like that. And so the same type of situation when I got into the NFL and, you know, Sean's second year, he was really preaching that. I think our class, the 2018 class, really bought into that and understood that it is going to be a process and you have to buy in every day with a growth mindset. It's definitely seems to be paying off.
When a coach, regardless of what the message is, in this instance, it would be the using of trust the process. When it's used over and over and over again, is it sometimes challenging to embrace it and not maybe look at it as, all right, here we go again. He's just saying whatever he's saying.
Yes and no, but I mean, again, we brought in the right people who do buy into it, and there's not a lot of situations that trust the process doesn't account for. You can use it in almost any situation, after a win, after a loss, after injury, after things off the field, on the field, whatever. And so it's something that we buy into and do our best to show that in our day to day.
Is it still something that is prominent in Sean's approach and message to the team?
Yeah, I mean, overarching, yes, but right now we're more in that championship caliber, messaging and mission shift.
Cool. Thanks, Harrison.
Yep.
Hey, Harrison. Heather Prusak here. Good to see you.
You as well.
We talk a lot about teams or units trying to peak at the right time, especially as the playoffs are right around the corner. But I want to ask you individually. I know you guys always say there's always things you can work on with your games, but do you personally feel like you're playing your best football right now?
I don't know. I mean, I guess the production says that, but I mean, again, a lot of that stuff is just a ball bouncing your way and kind of being in the right place at the right time. I've approached every practice, every game, every meeting with the same approach since I got here. I think if anything, I think just the camaraderie that we have as a defense and our defensive line, being able to play off of one another is something that's attributed to that. So it doesn't matter if one player is playing lights out. We have to, as a full team, play at that level. And, the sum of the parts is greater than them individually. So that's the most important thing for us.
And then you've also talked a lot about, what you've seen from Ed Oliver this season, but just the camaraderie and how you two play off of each other. How have you seen that relationship on the field grow as you've, played more next to him?
Yeah, you just flow with one another better, kind of understand. We've seen about every run you can and about every pass protection you can see with our duo in there. And so I know how Ed's going to play a certain play. I know how he knows how I'm going to see or overlap on certain formations and different looks that we get. And so the more repetition you can get with that, the better. And that's why you see, some people have great careers together. You see offensive lines who stay together through a long time. They're great offensive lines, the same with defensive units or D tackles and D ends who get to work together for a long time. Jerry and Kyle Williams here for that stretch. And so, yeah, I hope, you get that day after day, practice after practice, game after game, week after week, season after season. It could be a really, really good camaraderie.
And then how proud are you of Levi and Dane, the fact that this pass defense, it really seems like it hasn't missed a beat really since Trey went down. Obviously, you guys would love to have him out there, but the fact that they've been able to step up to the challenge of filling the void that Trey leaves there, just what can you say about what they've done there so far since Trey's been out?
Yeah, I mean, I think Levi's had a fantastic career already. 4 years into this thing, very underrated player for us. He's always stepped up in very crucial time and done his job. And then Dane, kind of a work while you wait situation, knowing that he was kind of when he came in here, but he's stepped up in such an amazing way, and we have so much trust in those guys, and that helps us up front, knowing that we're going to have an extra second because of how great they're doing on the back end. So very, very proud of those guys, and happy that they're on my team.
Thanks, Harrison. Appreciate it.
Yes, good afternoon, Harrison. George Radney, Challenger Community News. How you doing this afternoon?
Doing well, thank you.
Great. Question for you. How do you get your body ready on game day for these cold weather games? Because it looks like most of the rest of the way is going to be pretty much cold weather. How do you break that sweat and get your body loosened up and ready for that kickoff time?
Yeah, I mean, my routine is I like to go out on the field fairly early, like closer to 10:30 or so, a few hours before the game, on a 1 o'clock game, that is. Go out, feel the conditions, see what the turf is feeling like that day. I go back in after that, and we're inside there in the heating or whatever. So I do my full warm up in there, get a good lather sweat going, and then we have a great, through our strength staff and our sports science, our warm up as a team. We do just enough to get you primed without getting you, too fatigued, and then layers always help too.
Oh, no doubt about it. Got to have the layers. And last but not least, that looks almost like a baseball chest protector. What is that? What is that gear that you have on?
These are just our shells that we wear for our non-padded practices to, protect from little face masks or things like that that can hit you in the shoulders and chest.
Ah, beautiful. Hey, modern technology at its best. Hey,
Yeah.
Thanks a lot, and good luck on Sunday, Harrison.
Thanks, George.
That'll do it for today. Thanks, Harrison.
Thanks.
Austin's up. Kaylee. Oh, nice. Butt sweat. Here. I don't care. I'm just going to soak in it. Going to sauna anyway. What's up?
What's up, Dawson? Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
All right, awesome. Please raise your hand if you have a question. Get started with John.
Hey, Dawson, I asked Harrison and a couple other guys this. Do you remember how often, especially your rookie season, you heard Sean McDermott use the phrase "trust the process," and almost what your reaction was every time the phrase was used?
Yeah, I mean, definitely don't have like an exact number for you, but I mean, it was a good bit. It's just one of the, it's just one of the standards we have, trust in the process. The more you think about that phrase, it's all about the little things you do every day. You can't, get caught up looking a week ahead, a month ahead, in the off season. You can't be looking to, wow, someone just threw a ball and almost knocked the iPad off. Anyways, you can't be thinking like a month ahead, because you got to focus on the little details today and just trust the little process that's going on a daily basis.
To outsiders, I know this is before your time. When Sean first got here, I mean, it was almost like a joke, a punchline, because it was used so often. How in turn do you embrace something that is hammered home so much here as you're getting hammered with balls over there? How do you embrace something that is thrown at you so often and could be looked at as almost cliche?
Yeah, I mean, because it's mentioned so much, you could have a tendency to let it just go one ear out the other. But because we hear it so much, it's just kind of ingrained into us, and we start to understand what that means. So every time we hear it, it's got meaning to us. It's just a good little like recalibration. If you're thinking like, this week we can't be thinking about the Super Bowl. We got to be thinking about the little process things of today, what we want to accomplish in practice, getting through meetings with the right notes, the right details, and just stacking good days on top of each other. So when, the big opportunities come on Sundays, we're there to make them because we made the little decisions right during the week. But yeah, it's just, obviously it is mentioned a lot, but I think it means a lot to everyone in this building.
Does he hammer it home and use it as frequently now as maybe he did a few years ago earlier in your career?
No, because he doesn't have to. Now everyone that's been here knows what it means, and he's not saying it every day, but every now and then he'll mention it, and it's just kind of a good, bring you back to today, to the present, and being where you're at, doing the right things on a daily basis. But yeah, definitely much less than what it was my rookie year.
Appreciate it, man. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, John.
What's up, Dawson?
What's up, MagLab?
How are you?
Good. How about you?
Doing good. Hey, Martin Luther King Day is coming up in the next couple of weeks. So what does Martin Luther King represent to you?
Oh my gosh. Just equality for everybody. It's such a important day to remember. And it can't be looked at as something that's only in the past. Like we're still working today to make diversity truly equal in America. So it's a day that, everyone has to stop and think about what was done in the past for the civil rights that were going on at that time. And also today, what everybody can be doing to further what Martin Luther King started. So it can't be looked at as, oh, cool, that was one day, several years ago, but also has to be kind of taken into the day and into the present, and kind of needs to make you evaluate where you are on just social issues and social justice.
Why do you think it's important to have role models like that in your life? We heard from Micah Hyde, and he said, someone like Martin Luther King, like I'm definitely going to teach my kids about him when they start to grow up. And I know you have younger brothers who are a minority. So why do you think it's good to have important role models like him around?
Oh, it's crucial. Without them, a lot of people would be lost, and they wouldn't know. They want to have a good figure to look at to try to aspire to be like. You can't just go along on a daily basis and just try to do what you feel is right. You got to try to emulate people that have done it right in the past, that have been consistently, just a good person. Much like Martin Luther King, you got to look at him and all that he accomplished, and having guys like that is especially for me and my little brothers too, my adopted little brothers. It's important that, we educate them on what it was like, back then, and also Martin Luther King's dream and what he kind of envisions for now and for the future. So it's just important to always keep in the back of your mind, and role models like him are invaluable to everybody.
Awesome. Thanks, Dawson.
Thanks, MagLab.
Hey, Dawson. Real weird asking you a football question after something that's like so important. Thanks, Maddie.
Took a little turn.
Yeah, of course. But hey, we've talked this week about the signage in the building changing from playoff caliber to championship caliber. And that's been something that, has gotten brought up a couple different times. My question to you is, what do you think championship caliber means?
It's just taking the next step. Playoff caliber is what we aspire for all year. And now that we've clinched the playoffs, the goal is to go win a world championship. So it's just every little detail has to be that much more important to you. You just have to be locked into everything. You can't skim over meetings. You can't, zone out during walkthroughs. This point of the year, nothing's guaranteed. Obviously, besides this last game we have coming up this weekend. So it's just taking the next step, making everything just a little bit more important to you, if that's even possible. Just everything has to be elevated.
And I asked Josh this the other day, but we were talking about how sometimes it's not the best team that wins the Super Bowl. It's the team that gets the hottest at the right time that wins the Super Bowl. And we saw a little bit of that last year with the Bucs. I think they lose big to the Saints, and then they go on a run and they win it. Do you feel like the team has hit its stride at the right time, or is it still too early to know that?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think we have some positive momentum going. I think we're going to look back at that second half of the Tampa game as the spark that's kind of gotten us into this rhythm, because it was just kind of a flip that everyone saw that we switched at that halftime of the Tampa game, and just we started rolling as an offense, just all around defense, special teams as well. Just there was kind of a flame that was lit underneath us. Like, all right, it's go time to start stringing some good games together. And yeah, I feel like there's definitely some good momentum. There's definitely a little fire going behind us right now.
Thank you, Dawson. Appreciate it, man.
Yeah, thanks, Matthew. We're good?
Hey, good afternoon, Dawson. George Radney, Challenge Community News. How you doing?
Good. How about you?
All right. Quick question for you. How does your technique may change in cold weather? Because I know you're from the Nashville area. I see they have snow this morning down there. Did you play in snow? Have any snow games before coming to Buffalo?
No.
Or real
never
cold?
did, but yeah, it's a little different. But they do a great job on the sidelines, having the big jackets for us, heated benches. They got those huge heat blowers. But I mean, once you get out there running around, you get warmed up pretty good. And when there's a little snow on the grass, there's a little bit of extra traction that you need. So you got to think a little bit extra about different steps and different cuts, because it might be a little extra slippery, but it's really just kind of an afterthought after you get out there and get done warming up. But yeah, like I said, the equipment managers and everybody on the sideline do a great job making sure we're warm and ready to go.
All right. And one last one. Do you change your technique at all for catching the ball in this type of in windy and cold conditions?
I'd say definitely when it's windy, just tracking the ball is all that much more important. Like we saw for what game was it? I think the first New England game, just you saw the ball moving all over the place. So it's just that much more important to keep your eyes on it. Because, I mean, I think even one of the flags ripped off the flagpoles up top, and we saw, how it affected kicking the ball too. But I mean, it's just one of those things. You got to lock in your concentration a little bit more.
All right. Thank you very much, and good luck on Sunday.
For sure. Thanks, George.
Hey, Dawson. Just a couple of quick ones. We won't keep you too long. But I was curious. Sean has mentioned a couple times how he feels like Josh has kind of taken a step as a leader off the field, kind of stuff we don't get to see. From your perspective, being in the locker room and around him all the time, have you noticed anything differently this year?
Yeah, I mean, he's just even more confident in his own abilities, and not at all a cocky way. And he just, when you're in the huddle with him, he's going to go out and make some crazy, amazing plays like he does every Sunday. We have all the confidence in the world in him too. And then also like in the locker room, he's just one of the guys. He's a guy that you'd love to go get a drink with, to go get dinner with, go hang out, watch one of the Monday Night Football games. Obviously, a lot of that stuff's limited right now because of COVID, but he's just one of the guys. Like, if you met him and had no idea who he was, you would have no idea that he was an NFL superstar. He's just a down-to-earth, fun to hang out with guy. I always say that I wish I knew him in college. Back when, you could go out after a Saturday night win and go hang out. It's a little different now, but just as a leader, there's nobody in our locker room that would say anything bad about him.
And then for you, I was curious, obviously, there's still playoffs to come and all of that, but from your own perspective, looking back at this season so far, is there an area you think you personally are proudest that you've taken a step forward in, something that you're like, oh, coming into the season, I wanted to do X, Y, and Z, and this has kind of turned out a certain way?
Yeah, I would say just specifically run blocking, I felt a lot better. Just knowing my assignment, knowing who I'm going to, who I'm working with, if it's a double team or what type of gap scheme or zone scheme we got going as an offense. Just kind of knowing the ins and outs of the run game, but also just overall, like, just confidence levels, confidence in my own abilities, and not going out thinking, oh my gosh, where do I line up? What route do I have? When am I hot? Are the safeties rotating? Is the linebacker blitzing? It's kind of just going out and being excited and having fun and going to make plays instead of going out there just to get my job done and try not to mess up. Because we always talk about going out there playing free, playing fast, and that's you know, when you play with some personality, that's when you play your best. So just making that little switch mentally, just going out there and having fun and doing what I know I can do, instead of going out there with, you know, little doubts like, oh my gosh, am I going to be in the right spot? So yeah, I'd just say playing free has been the best part about this year.
Was that something you noticed yourself doing last year, kind of second guessing or like having that feeling of doubt?
Yeah, definitely for the first half of the season. I know there were some ups and downs with COVID. I think I had a concussion and a calf strain early. So just kind of a roller coaster early in the year. And then kind of the second half, especially into the playoffs, I started really feeling good. You know, started making a few more plays here and there, and just kind of started getting that feeling of being able to play free and fast. And it felt amazing. Like, it was fun to go out there and compete. So I really wanted to take that into this year and keep that in mind all off season too when I was working out. Just that mental state of going out there to ball out instead of going out there to, you know, play conservative and try not to mess up.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Sure. Thanks.
That'll do it. Thanks, Dawson.
Awesome. Thank y'all.